Hey y'all, it's Ryukin here, and welcome to the, guess what, a weekly dose of reviewing stuff. And previously, on this weekly dose of reviewing stuff here, I have already done reviewing this Lava Iris 5112 right here. It was my first ever personal phone that I ever used back in 2016. And yeah, of course, this phone still works, as long as the Android itself won't support it anymore. And that's because this phone right here is running on Android 5.1 Lollipop. And well, guess what? It still works after all, so let me show it to y'all. So it just doesn't want to turn on for some reason. And for no reason, this doesn't want to turn on. So I guess you get an idea of how this phone right here would look like when it's turned on. Alright, so I just done recording the first scene of this video and I just realized that it's just started to boot. And well, see this? It's just decided to turn on by itself somehow. But fortunately, it didn't stuck in the boot loop. Unlike the whole APA. But well, of course, I have already done reviewing this phone in the previous episode, so you can go check the link video in the description, or I'm just going to put it as a video card inside this video, so you can go feel free to watch it if you want to. But I'm just going to put that aside because this is not the point anymore. And in this episode right here, I'm going to bring back the one of my items that I used to review in the old series, but I'm going to bring it back in 2024. And I also discovered that there was the one of them right here that I used to review back in my old days on my YouTube channel, and that is, so I'm just not going to spoil what it is, so I'm just going to call it up with my hands like this, so I hope you all don't spoil it. So, but the keyword is a camera, and it is a pretty old, like from 2008. So, and guess what? It's not just the camera that is too vintage to look, but guess what? Alright, so I will give y'all like 10 seconds to get the answer. So, alright, 10 seconds. Alright, I don't even know how accurate that is. And here, it is a Casio X-Slim EX19. Well, why do I bring it back in this video? And that's because, well, I discovered this camera along with the other cameras that it was actually supposed to review back then, but even though I didn't review them all, and this is one of the first cameras from this camera bag right here that I used to review. So, but how well does it perform? Well, it still actually has what it is. Still works. And I even customized it. And well, but how well does it perform? So we are going to find it out in this episode of the weekly dose of reviewing stuff. And so, and how well does this Casio EX19 from 2008 performs? We don't know, but this video will tell y'all. And get ready for the throwback madness. And this is a Casio X-Slim EX19 in its full glory. And first of all right here, just like every compact cameras, this camera right here, it has every essential needs for the one compact camera from the year 2008. So you can see here, you can see the lens, the flash, the cell timer there, as well as the microphone right there, which this camera right here can also record videos, so just like every compact cameras at that time. But except this thing, it has a really special feature that back at that time in 2008, this camera right here does have it, but meanwhile the other just doesn't, which it is the back white LCD right there. So as you can see here, it has a white LCD, which it was kinda unusual thing to see on such a little compact camera like this. And well, and that's because this camera right here is trying to be new. And you can see that the white LCD itself right here, it doesn't even look that white at all. and it's not even close to 16 by 9. And this one right here is like a more like a 3 by 2 aspect ratio, and I pretty soon from what I viewed the photos in 3 by 2 in the playback, well, of course this LCD right here is indeed the 3 by 2 like aspect ratio. So, and with the resolution of this thing, well, according to that one archive website that I found, the resolution itself, it claims to have a 1479 by 240, which it's not that really close to a 480p at all, but it's more like a, you know, it's more like a 360p sunk onto the back of the LCD. For the resolution itself, it doesn't look that great, and it also uses a TFT LCD. So, but, well, of course, the viewing angle right here is going to be about the same as my Lava Iris right here, but except this one right here, it does a lot of better job than on the Lava Iris 5112, and that's because, well, they have really worse viewing angle when it comes to looking at the screen from the top or from the bottom. And well, of course, we are going to talk about the main features of this Casio Extreme X19 first before I get to anything about this camera right here. And well, first of all right here, I'm going to use this box right here that I used to review back then as a reference. So, and first of all right here, according to the specs of this thing right here, so, and well, there's specs in different languages for some reason, and well, and yep, of course I still can read some of the French right here. So the image sensor right here is a CCD image sensor according to the specs on the back right there, which is written in different language. So it has a 9.1 megapixels for effective pixels, and it has the 37.5 to 112.5 millimeters of equivalent focal length, which is like a, you know, it's not that great for a little zoomy amount of lens. And this one right here, it only uses a 3 times optical zoom, so that's not going to be that good amount of zoom that you can get on the one compact camera back at that time. And the LCD itself is the size of 2.6 inches, which back then, the most of the digital compact cameras from that time in 2008, which they have the 2.5 LCD, which is like slightly, it's like a bit larger than the, well, so here's an example right here of this Sony Cybershot DSC 2000, which it has a 2.5 inch LCD right here, which for 2.6 inch on this Casio Extreme X19 right here, when you compare the size, yep, the size right here, which I'm gonna say is going to be looking like this, and that's because this LCD right here is going to be slightly longer of those 2.5 inch right here, which it has a 4:3 like aspect ratio. So, and well, of course, back to the specs. And according to the specs, it claims to support SD cards and MMC cards or multimedia cards, which unfortunately I don't have it in my home, so I didn't find anywhere around my home right now, because, you know, all of these right here were like, you know, mini SD cards, and it don't have one of those multimedia cards to play around with, so unfortunately it didn't have that. And optical zoom is 3 times optical zoom, and according to the focal length right there, which it has a 37.5 to 112.5 millimeter of focal length according to the requirement to the 35 millimeter film. But of course the sensor is really small, so it uses CCD image sensor, and it has a flash integrated. Yep, for some reason, you see this was like written in French, so, and I kind of read like literally. So it's flash integrated, and the accessories included, we got a battery charger BC60L, and I do have it in my bag, so I'm going to take a look at the charger itself right here. And here's the charger for this camera right here. So it looks like a pretty much a basic camera charger, so as you can see here. It's pretty much a basic battery charger right there. And we got an AC power cord, which is this one. I borrowed this one from some cameras that I have right here. So, and we got a USB cable, which they have its own proprietary USB cable. And we got an AV cable, strap, CD-ROM, and lithium-ion battery, which is a Casio MP60. But fortunately, I do saw one on Lazada, which it cost me like a few bucks. And well, I didn't decide to buy it, but until if I have enough time, I'm going to buy it, and I'm going to replace the battery on this thing. And that capacity of the battery is much better than the original one that came in the box. And the one that came contained in the box is just like a bit swollen, but it's still usable. So, and otherwise, it can support Windows Vista, XP, and 2000, and including Windows 11, but it's not listed on the box because back then Windows 10 and Windows 11 doesn't exist. So, and that's really it for the specs of this Casio Extreme XN19, and here it is, the LCD right here that I was talking about. It's a 2.6 wide LCD, but it's not that wide actually, but it's more like a 3:2 aspect ratio, just like what I said. And of course, nothing around the box actually, and here's the picture of the camera itself in its full glory once again. And back to the actual look of the camera right here. So, and ignore all these other parts right here that I scrapped from the other stuff that I have, and also this cold shoe right here that I put onto this camera, because well, what I'm going to do with this camera, well, I'm going to turn it into a small street camera. And that's, well, I was having a plan that I'm going to buy a viewfinder on this camera, but since the focal length, it is an requirement to a 35mm film, so well, I think a 35mm viewfinder works just fine on this camera. So I can actually, like, you know, shoot the photos using the viewfinder and the LCD at the same time. So originally this camera doesn't have a whole shoe mount, but this one here that I put it on myself. So I only put it if I really want to put viewfinder on it, and it's kind of wobbly for some reason. So, but no worries, I'll have to do something about that later. And alright, back to the camera. So, the camera itself, it's got a compact camera flare going on here, so as well as the 3x optical zoom lens provided by X-Limbs themselves. We got the flash for taking photos, we got the cell time indicator right there to tell you all if the camera is actually going to take a photo in 3, 2, and 1. And we also got the microphone right there, which is also double as the microphone for the audio recorder. And fortunately, the audio recorder on this thing right here, it records in WAV files, which they were owned by Microsoft, which is what I really like, but except the bitrate is really low, and it's really low quality actually. I use this, like, I have two of them right here, so I used the one right here to record the song called Soul Down, which the audio that comes from this, it sounds like this. Alright, that's enough snippet. So the audio recorder for this thing, well, it actually produces the low bitrate audio quality as possible. So, but well, of course, it's really low quality actually. So it's only used for, like, you know, if you want to, well, take a audio recording of somebody else, you just hit the record on the shutter button, and that's it. And yep. Of course, apart from having all of the basic essential features on the most of the compact cameras, and on the top, we also got the essential power button, which is basically a power button that you have to push in the button to turn it on. And yep, it turns on. And here's the sound of the zooming lens. So back then, when I first got this thing to review right here, the sound, it kind of reminds me of those electric screwdrivers. But since sounds that it actually makes from this camera, well, of course, they sound like some sort of a 90s film camera that it actually tried to mimic the sound of a screwdriver. So, and aside from the power button, we also got a shutter button right here to take a photo and video and audio recorder. You can use it as the button to start the audio recording. And on the side, we got a place for your hook strap, and we also got the USB right there, as well as the door right here to access your battery and your SD card. And on the back, we got the 2.6-inch wide LCD, and it's a TFT LCD just like what I said. And we got all of the essential functions right here for the zoom. And we got the button right here to go back to the camera mode, as well as the playback, and the 4 directional buttons. The top button double as the display button in the playback and the photo mode and the video mode, whatever you want. And we also got the flash button right here, and it also doubles as the trash button in the playback mode. And we also got the menu button as well as the brace chart button, which is basically an essential mode button, which you have to scroll through the menus of what the mode you're going to be choosing. And this camera right here, it also features a so-called YouTube capture mode. So what it actually records right here, it records a 640 by 480 video at 30 frames per second. And back then, the YouTube standards was in quality of 480p. And back then, there were no 720p, there were no 1080p. You only got 480p video quality back then. And until like in 2009, there was the first video ever that was filmed in 1080p on YouTube. So, but back then it was like a 4K video. So, but well, of course, YouTube has extended a lot of video quality capabilities, so they can upload up to 4K like for now, but I don't know in the future if they can actually upload a 16K video. I don't know how it performs, so it's probably going to be laggy on some of the lower end machines like the one that I have on my B-Max. On the bottom, yep, you got standard tripod mount as well as the information sticker right there, and also we got this speaker, I think. And again, once again, back to the back right here, you can see this indicator LED right here for telling you all if the camera is doing with the SD card or using a flash. This will actually going to tell you if your camera is actually doing something else. So, see? Yep. It also doubles as an indicator to turn on the camera. And yep, of course, it actually works just fine for this LED. So, but even though it's actually not too close to the cold shoe at all. So, but well, of course, this one right here is only designed for viewing with the LCD only. So, but that is only the purpose of this LED right here. And well, with the effective pixels of 9.1 megapixels, the photos that were taken for this camera right here, of course, and with that CCD image sensor on this camera, well, the photos that is going to provide you is going to be like, you know, it's like a vintage digicam. So, but the photos that you were going to expect is something like from straight out of the 2000s. But this camera right here, it also features the time and date stamp, which what it actually really does right here, just like back in the film camera days, you can actually put the date and the time on the photo. And well, of course, back to the photo quality of this thing right here. So I'm gonna say the photo quality from this thing right here, it's not a film like. So the photo right here, it really depends on what the scenery you're shooting. Like you shoot at the beach or you shoot at the daylight time. And this camera right here, it does works fine in daylight situations, but except when you enter the dark, especially when you're using an auto ISO, well, the photo right here is going to be like really noisy and it's really grainy. So when you enter the dark, well, but despite all of the language in CCD right here, the photo right here is going to be really noisy in low light. So, and well, of course, that's why you will find some of the old cameras that it can't even handle the low light situations. And well, of course, the photo quality right here, which I'm gonna say it's pretty decent for a CCD camera like this, but although when it's in daylight mode, the quality is going to be really decent. But as soon as you take a photo in low light, well, the photos are going to become grainy and really noisy. So, and that's because it uses too much ISO and too much of the shutter speed and the EV compensation. So many factors combined. As for the video from this thing right here, so first of all, the video, fortunately for this camera, it does record in standard definition. So it's not like a 720 by 5076 like on my camcorder, but it's something like 480p video quality, which you can also choose from 480p to a widescreen 480p, which the quality right here is listed as 848 by 480 in the settings. And as for the 640 480, which is a VGA quality, so you can actually choose either what you want to use, the 480p wide or the 480p 4x3 standard. And this camera right here, well, of course, the videos right here, I'm gonna say they're not as bad as the videos from the Wacom phones. The video is really pixelated depending on what you're going to zoom in or zoom out on something else. And of course, they uses the digital zoom to do all of that. So there's no optical zoom on this camera. So if you want to use optical zoom, well, you can do it on this camera when you're recording a video. And well, of course, the photo gone and video gone and the audio just gone already. So, and what about the functionality on this thing? Well, it's really simple. So everything right here is operated on the 4 directional buttons, as well as everything right here, including the navigation. So as you can see here, here's the LCD. I'm going to turn off the light right here just in case. And you can see that here's what it looks like right here for the interface. So as you can see right now, I have set it to manual focus, which what it actually really does right here for this camera right here is that the manual focus, you can use the left and right keys to control the manual focus. And unlike many of the compact cameras back at that time that it has like a ring to adjust the manual focus, but this one right here, instead, it uses the arrow keys to navigate through the manual focus mode. So you got this yellow box right here in the center to actually going to tell you if the image is in focus or not. As you can see here, if I go to the, I think that's the right side. When you go on the right side, it's going to adjust the focus from 1 meter to infinity. If you go to the left, it's going to macro focus on something, so that it is actually in range 10-15 meters. So this is actually good for, like, you know, using a creative shots out this, which is going to be like, you know, oh, I just want to take a photo of something else that you really want to take. So like for example right here, if you want to take a photo of this little boy right here, but while you have like the bokeh thing in the background, so you actually can't do it by doing the manual focus, and you have to actually figure it out by yourself because the LCD on this thing right here is really low resolution. And yep, of course, I'm going to take a photo right here in a nutshell. Yup. So, and here's the photo right here that I've just took. So as you can see here, here's what it looks like right here when it comes to using the manual focus on this camera. So you have to use the 2 navigation keys right here to get this manual focus to work. So, but well, of course, it's really easy to use, not gonna lie. But this is by having, you know, not having the ring to adjust the manual focus. So you were kind of stuck with this arrow keys right here to navigate or while you're going to focus on something else. Or else I will have to stuck with auto focusing mode anyways. There's not much that you can do here. And the picture size, you can choose from 9 megapixels to 3x2 and 16x9, which I believe uses camera to take a photo of the thumbnail. So like what you see here, like in the past in 2024. So I use this camera right here to take a photo of something else and I put it into the thumbnail. So and here's some example right here that I've took with this camera right here that I used to make like a thumbnail video. So there's like some of them right here that I'm going to showcase to y'all right here in this video. So, and well, of course, they will mostly film in 60x9. So, well, of course, I choose this quality right here to take a photo of those stuff in the thumbnail. And for the 3x2 right here, I will only use it if I really want to. Like, you know, I want a film look, I was just going to use a 3x2 instead of just a 4x3 one, like the effective pixels on this thing. And you can actually choose from 7 megapixels, 4 megapixels, 2 megapixels, and all the way down to VGA. So, and that's really it. So there's nothing much to say here. And the quality you can choose from fine, normal, economy. So, that's just it. The normal is basically a normal JPEG photo, and the economy is just lowers the compression of the JPEG. And that's really it to make smaller files. And this one right here, I was talking about right here, like in area. So this is a daytime stamp feature right here. You can choose from nothing to day and time and just date. So just like back in the film camera days. And that's really it for the camera right here. And well, of course, I don't want to talk about that much because I'm just going to take the space and the time on this camera. So, and well, of course, the last thing right here that I'm going to talk about is the video out. So, and here in Thailand right here, we use PAL, so that's why I use PAL right here, and it's also in 16x9. And you can choose either a PAL 4x3 or PAL 16x9. So, and above right there is an NTSC, which, well, in country right here that I'm living in Thailand, we don't use it, so I'm just going to stick up with PAL instead. So, but since my camcorder is also PAL, so it's recording in 25 frames per second. There's nothing else that I want to talk about here, like the panel, which is basically just turn on the panel for more features. And if you turn it off, it's just basically a full screen viewfinder. And the display, which you can choose from wide to just 4x3. And alright, so I think this is going to be basically it for this review of the Casio Extreme XZ19. And of course, this spy is bringing a CCD camera in its full glory. This camera right here is going to be a really good investment if you are playing the vintage digital cameras, or if you are interested in taking a photography with digital vintage cameras. Well, of course, this right here is going to be a good investment for you if you are like, or if you are interested in taking photos and street cams with this type of cameras like this from like 15 years ago. So, and well, of course, this right here is going to be a good investment if you are interested in vintage digital camera photography. So, and this one here also features the color filter, which I'm not going to talk about that right now because you know the color filter is basically just something that you will find on the most of the smartphone these days. So, but except they have like a color filter, and you can actually customize your own sharpness and flash intensity and contrast and all of that stuff. And well, of course, that was basically it for the Casio X-Slim EX19 review. And I hope you all enjoyed this video right here, and I'm not going to waste any time on my SD card right now because it's been 30 minutes now since I started recording. And well, that was basically it for Casio X-Slim EX19 review. And I hope you all enjoyed this video, and well, if you like this nonsense stuff like this, so please leave me a like, comment แล้วก็ที่สำคัญมากเลยนั่นคือการกดปุ่ม subscribe สีแดงให้ผมด้วยแล้วก็มันจะเป็นกำลังใจให้ผมในการทำคลิปต่อๆไปนะครับแล้วก็อีกอย่างหนึ่งนะครับถ้าใครสนใจอยากจะไปดูคลิปที่ผมเคยรีวิวเจ้ากล้องตัวนี้เอาไว้นะครับก็สามารถไปดูได้ใน links in the description, and I'm going to put it as a video card inside this video, so if I really want to. And again, that was basically it for the Casio X-Slim EX19 review. แล้วก็ขอบคุณท่านผู้ชมเลยนะครับที่มาติดตามรับฟังขอบคุณมากแล้วก็เดี๋ยวเจอกันใหม่นะครับ in the next episode of the videos of review stuff, where I'm going to make more awesome quality content like this. ไม่กูเสียวกล้องตัวนี้วะ ไม่น่าเลย Alright, that was basically it for this video, and I will see you all there all around. We're going to make more awesome quality content like this and more awesome content. And it's been 9 minutes of the remaining time. And as always, เจอกันใหม่ในคลิปหน้าก็ในepisodeหน้า Alas, office, peace out, and for now. And alas. Bye bye.